provide their evidence at this point. And now is the point at which the facts on the ground have changed. And so either you ought to shift your opinion based on the facts that have now emerged, or you ought to acknowledge that this was never a fact-based inquiry in the first place.
Sources and methods. That Jeffrey Epstein was a gun for hire being operated by multiple intel agencies. Of course, he has direct connections to the CIA. We've covered that. He has direct connections to the FBI. We've covered that. He has direct connections to Mossad. We've covered that. And other foreign intel agencies like the French, the British, and so on. And his job was to create compromat on some of the world's most powerful people. Let's assume that that was the op. And that you can't say anything about it because it will compromise your sources and methods, right? You'll never be able to give us these hard drives, right, with the evidence tape wrapped around them that Epstein put there. The FBI didn't put it there. That's how the FBI found all the hard drives, with the evidence tape wrapped around them. Let's say this is the case, which does seem logical. And you're not going to be able to do anything else on this case because it will reveal so much nefarious activity inside of the intel agencies, and you're going to have to protect them for whatever reason. Why release the memo the way that you did?
Can listen to that and not feel completely condescended to and devalued and ignored is something I'll never understand. It wasn't the media obsessing on the Epstein case. It was Donald Trump's closest political associates. In fact, J.D. Vance bashed the media repeatedly for not asking questions about the Epstein case. He said anyone who's a journalist worthy of that term would be digging into all of this and demanding answers from the Biden administration about why these documents aren't forthcoming, about what information there is, about who's on that client list. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino went on every podcast they could find, including in Dan Bongino's case, his own, to talk about this repeatedly. We showed you all the video last night. By the way, I was on Breaking Points earlier today with Crystal Ball, and I'm sure every show did this, but they compiled their own video montage of huge numbers of Trump officials, Trump supporters, leading Trump influencers over the last 4 years, begging the table in an accusatory way, implying that the Biden administration is in on this predatory pedophile plot because they're hiding all the truth. And then Trump, when asked about it, a matter that his own movement, his own supporters, that Trump himself was asked about several times during the campaign, and said, yeah, I think that's something that probably should be disclosed. I'm going to look into this. Then has the audacity to say, how can you ask about something so trivial? We're dealing with important things like the flood in Texas.
So what's really going on here? I mean, what's really going on? Well, experts such as our friend Julie Brown from the Miami Herald, who's been covering Epstein for years, say that the notion of Epstein having an easy-to-access client list is likely a red herring. And that's what the Trump administration is relying on, that there likely isn't a list per se. But they are also now relying on the fact that because it's MAGA influencers who often put forward so many falsehoods, legacy news media won't push the point, that while there might not be a list, there are certainly files that can be released. There's a trove of information that the Trump administration is right now refusing to share. Information that could well point to the powerful folks who availed themselves of the sex trafficking victims of Jeffrey Epstein. If you go, for example, to the FBI vault online, you can see that there are 22 files containing thousands of pages. Most of them are heavily redacted. Now, sure, of course, redact the names and identifying characteristics of the victims. But why not make the victim and witness testimonies public? As Julie Brown points out, there's still so much we don't know from the investigations by U.S. attorneys in Miami and in New York, witness interviews in the U.S. Virgin Islands and New Mexico. Brown writes that there's still more evidence that hasn't been published, including, quote, Epstein kept video cameras in most of his residences, and Epstein's autopsy, nor the report of the investigation into his death, has ever been made public. So while there may not be an official client list to be released, as the administration is now saying, there's a lot of extra information that is not being made public, despite Trump's Justice Department basically now saying case closed. This isn't going to go away. The public, you You're being played for fools here.
I got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Epstein, in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool. So,
the Clintons are friends
and he's
of
been
yours,
there
right?
for many
The
times.
Clintons are friends
Well,
of
I
yours.
can't say friends, but I know
You're
them.
friendly. You know them.
They play at my clubs a lot. I have clubs, and everybody likes to play
Are
at
you
my
saying
clubs.
there's a political problem for her if she runs for president?
It could be a political problem. Look, he could be a political problem. Right now, he's Teflon, and right now, maybe not. But he could end up being a political.
Welcome to Truth with JJ Carrell. This story is not going away. I'll be honest, the very first time this popped up on Sunday, I thought, oh man, they're going to allow this to just get pushed right under the rug and washed clean, whitewash it, and have it disappear. And then within 24 hours, I was like, nope, I was wrong. This is never going away. This is never, ever going away. This is either going to force Donald Trump to do the right thing, or it's going to cripple and destroy his presidency. Isn't it amazing? Things that you would never guess would destroy a man's presidency or taint his image because it was just the simply right thing to do, meaning to release everything, put people in jail, just do the morally right thing, but you covered it up, Mr. President. You and your associates covered it up. And it's going to destroy your presidency. It's going to rip MAGA apart, coupled with your stupid amnesty. Look, you have people like the first video. Let's just go through it. Ben Shapiro, what a disappointment. I used to watch him with my son until October 7th happened in Israel. And then it became Israel all the time. And it became, even to my son, who was 13 at the time, said to me, Dad, why does Ben Shapiro only talk about Israel and talk bad about America? I said to myself, I went, okay, this is one of those moments you've been waiting for. Let's talk openly with my son. That's why I listen to podcasts and watch podcasts with my son, because it's a learning tool. So he doesn't just hear Dad yammer on about whatever. I let him hear other people and then make a conscious determination of what he's listening to. And I told him, this is the problem, son. We have people inside the United States, because we balkanized the United States of America by race, by sexuality, and very, very strongly through national ties to foreign countries. Be Somalia for Ilhan Omar, be Mexico for some certain congressmen, Guatemalan for the fat illegal Guatemalan Ramirez from Illinois, or Israel. And people have allegiance to other nations outside of America. Ben Shapiro, where he asked where the evidence is, sir, why don't you get your head out of your ass or out of the asses of the people that are paying you and just speak the truth, my man. The next video is Benny from the Benny Show. And Benny just kind of lays it out right after Ben Shapiro. Well, you want some evidence? Well, here's some evidence. Here's some hard drives with evidence tape around it that the FBI didn't put in there. Jeffrey Epstein wrapped it up with evidence so everybody knew this is evidence. Hard drives. Did you see how many hard drives there were? Can you imagine the millions, not thousands, millions of videos and pictures and documents? What was that, about 30 hard drives minimum in one box? And I've seen pictures of multiple boxes. So that man was running he's not running a blackmail scheme. Who in God's name uses that much computer processing data that you have to continually change out your hard drives? Who does that? Nobody I know. Jake Tapper, of all people, is saying exactly what I believe. America, you're being played as a fool, and no one's telling you the truth. And do you know how you can honestly tell that this is such a deep, deep, corrupted situation? Have you heard honestly, stop and think. This is Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. Have you heard in the last 5 days a single Democrat even speak about anything? It's like they disappeared. It's like they don't even exist. Where are the Democrats? Why are they not talking about this? One, they know that the Republicans are eating themselves alive right now. And two, they know that they just dodged a bullet because the vast majority of their members are connected to this crap somehow. The greatest enemy of America is our own government. Our own government decides that they hold information from us. That needs to change. Donald Trump should have gone in and he should have destroyed the FBI. He should have closed down the CIA. He should have reorganized everything, and he didn't. And now they own him. Now they own him. Somebody has gotten to him. Somebody has gotten to his administration. There is no other explanation except there is so many intel agencies, government agencies, government employers, massive amounts of elites that are entangled in this sexual evil called pedophilia, and Trump and everyone is afraid to just let it be. Meaning open the Pandora's box, step away, and allow America to see it. But instead, they chose to lie to us. Here's something that just came out today, and I didn't have time to put it in my log. Tom Fenton, the president, CEO, whatever you want to call it, of Judicial Watch, which is a bulldog, has documents today, Thursday, July 10th, 2025, 4 to 5 days after they released the memo saying there's nothing to see here. Tom Fenton has uncovered that no, actually, the DOJ has not gone through all of the Epstein videos, documents. They're still processing them. So who sent out that memo saying that there's nothing to see here, that it's all a lie, and they haven't even gone through all the evidence? That right there is a smoking gun to tell you that your government is compromised. I don't care that Donald Trump's there. I don't care J.D. Vance. I don't care about his cabinet, which I like, is in there. They're like less than a fraction of 1% of the government employees that are embedded in the deep state and the administrative state. Damn. We're talking about this for 4 days straight. I'm going to tell you, it's going to cock about on Friday. It's going to blow through the weekend, and then we're going to gang up again and go after it on Monday. I literally, this is my routine so the audience knows. I wake up, I hit a couple websites that I really trust, then I hit X, and I go through my feed, and then I get outside of my feed and go to whatever's trending, and I just scour. I can't get through my websites and get through anything that's not revolving around Jeffrey Epstein. I can't go into my Twitter. I'm literally using my finger and scrolling on my feed. I hit at least 3 times before I got to anything other than Epstein. Played that video yesterday of Patrick Bet-David saying that 20% of voters are feeling that they want to know about Epstein. I disagree with him completely. I would say easily 80% of the voters are like, we want to know. We voted for this. We're arguing about the low-hanging fruit. Why wasn't all of Epstein's documents released? The idea, the narrative, the weaponization of words. There is no Epstein list. The list. Everyone's fixated on the list. Stop. They're manipulating the words. You want to know a list? How about look at Miss Maxwell's black book that had over 2,000 names? She's in jail for trafficking nobody to no one. Trafficking ghost to other ghost. Why is she in jail? That's an honest question. Why is she in jail? She should not be in jail if this is the truth. She had 2,000 names in a black book, like Heidi Fleiss had. There. How about we start there? Why don't we look at those 2,000 names and interview them, find out when they were on Epstein's island, and then coordinate that with the treasure trove of hard drives of videos. And lo and behold, sir, that's your picture having sex with a 10-year-old girl. We've identified the victim as such and such. She was 10 years old. She's going to testify against you. You're going to jail for a very long time. But I'll cut you a deal if you can start talking. They'll start talking. You give me a black book of 2,000 people, I will give you 20,000 suspects that need to be arrested. But we're being told that there's nothing to see here. Pam Bondi is a terrible, terrible liar. Donald Trump is insulting us. If Donald Trump thinks that he can continue to insult us and use names like far right against us and think we're going to come out and lay everything on the line for him as we've done since 2016, he's misplaying his hand. I don't think Donald Trump understands how angry America is. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from this Epstein. I don't think anyone knew how angry America is. The underlying, the current, the emotional current in America is not apathy. It's not wonderment, confusement. It's not feeling disillusioned. It's anger. It's anger because we've been tired of being lied to. I want to talk about being prepared. I talk about this all the time. Be prepared. sat123.com/JJ. We'll be talking to Chris tomorrow from Sat123. The world is on fire. It is moving so fast. Last week we were talking about Iran, bombing Iran. We don't even talk, it's like it didn't even happen. Donald Trump was attempted to be assassinated almost a year to this day, I believe. Or in this season. What are you talking about? That actually happened? 6 Secret Service agents just got suspended. Supervisors down to field agents suspended today that were involved in that debacle. The world is changing. The world is dangerous. The world is telling us to be prepared. Be prepared through food, through Patriots Made, for Bella Grace, through Pet Club 24/7. Everybody. You have to be prepared to go to war. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, that we're a nation of angry people that have had it, then you just need to be prepared to be able to have a way to communicate. Could it be a Starlink? Could it be a sat phone? Could it be a generator? Could it be your children going to school in about another, 5-6 weeks and need a backpack with a ballistic shield? Go to sat123.com. Support our sponsors. sat123.com/JJ. Let's play this clip. And this is from Laura Ingraham. And it's short. It's about 35 seconds. But what this lady, I think it's Mercedes Schlapp, but I could be wrong. Please forgive me. She says exactly what's the underlying current for America is we want the truth. Just tell us the truth. Play this one from Laura Ingraham, please.
This is a proxy for what we've seen with so many big stories throughout the years where the American people just want to know what's going on with assassination attempts, whether it's the one in Butler on Trump or the one that was successful against JFK, the Russia collusion hoax, the situation with Epstein. everyone understands that there might not be a,
smoking gun.
Right. But no one feels very satisfied with the level of investigation that was taking place or the transparency. And it seems that the FBI and other government agencies care more about managing the narrative than actually just revealing the information that needs to be revealed.
That was Molly Hemingway. Forgive me on that one. Molly Hemingway. She's right. We're tired of the cover-ups. We're tired of the lies. JFK, MLK, 9/11. 9/11. 9/11. You believe you believe a bunch of goat herders that learned how to fly planes in little prop Cessnas were able to take over jet airliners and fly them into buildings, like hitting a target? You believe that? Honestly, you believe that? You listen to the pilots that are pilots today that have been doing it for 30 years. They even say there's no way that we can maneuver a plane to do what they did. The tactical maneuver the plane did to fly into the World Trade Center is impossible. Not probable, maybe probable, impossible. And then, quote, the worst pilot of them all, Mohammed, the goat herder, got into a plane and basically landed it as it blew up into the side of the Pentagon. Landed it. He had to land it. And Building 7, that had no connection to the Twin Towers, it was a very windy day, as AOC calls New York City, the Windy City. God, she's dumb. The Windy City of New York, and it blew down. It didn't blow down sideways. It imploded, like the wind was blowing. Yeah, I know you've never seen this type of wind before, but the wind was blowing from top down. Wasn't blowing sideways or swirling. The wind was so strong coming from outer space, and it pushed down and imploded Building 7. Oh my gosh. This is the age of awakening. Tell me something, anything that you believe in that's truthful. Anything that you've been told growing up that's truthful. Go ahead. Try to convince me that we went on the moon. Go ahead. No human, except for those 3 years in the 60s and early 70s, no human has ever gone past the radiation Van Allen belt. Why? Because everything keeps blowing up, burns up, disappears. But astronauts with fish bowls on their head, glass fish bowls on their head, went to the moon. Listen, I know how I sound, because 10 years ago, hell, 5 years ago, when people would say something about 9/11 or the moon landing, all that, you know what I would do? Exactly what I know some of you are doing. Rolling your eyes and thinking, I can't listen to this guy anymore. If I went back in time 5 years ago and said, I want you to listen to this dude talk, I won't show you his face, because you know how you don't really know how you sound. Just listen to what he's saying. I would say, oh, what a kook. What an absolute nut job this guy is. My whole world has spun. There's nothing that I believe in. I believe that Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior, Son of God, died on the cross and then resurrected into heaven from the dead. Outside of that fact that I believe with the depth of my soul, I believe in nothing. I mean nothing. I don't believe in anybody. I don't believe in any institution. I don't believe anything. And I push that onto my son and say, listen, you do not trust anyone. You make sure the reason you believe in whatever you believe in is based in reality, truth, and facts. I want you to fact check your mom and dad. Don't just take, when we say to do something, we want you to do it. And if you don't like it or you think it's wrong, then I want you to come back to me and explain to me why it's wrong. This is not a great way to live. I understand that. And so society cannot sustain a healthy, robust growth under these circumstances and these beliefs. However, you can do whatever you want with your children. With my child, it's going to be 14 in a couple days. I got 4 years, and my little dude is a young man going to college. I have 4 years to get my little dude to be a strong Christian man that thinks alone, that can critically think, and has the strength, the spiritual, intellectual, emotional strength to believe things that other people will scoff at him. Part of me is so freaking angry that this is the world that I have to raise my son in. I have to talk to my son about LGBTQ, XYZ. I'll give you an example. I tell my son all the time, listen, dude, these people are emotionally, mentally, spiritually broken. We will never, ever, ever mock them, bully them, make fun of them, or try to ostracize them ever. We will never, ever participate in that. But we are not going to believe in what they believe in. And I'll give you an example of how insane this world is and how angry I am, the fact that I have to talk to my son about these things. We're downtown in Kansas City on Memorial Day, and Kansas City has an incredible population of veterans and war heroes. So we're celebrating fireworks, a big orchestra. It's a beautiful night. And they have food trucks, like massive food trucks. And my son's like, Dad, I really, really want a funnel cake. All right, so we go get in line to get a funnel cake. And behind us is a transgender man. Whatever. My son looks at me and gives me that look like, Dad. And I'm like, remember what we talked about? Everything's cool, brother. It's all good, son. The man is wearing a V-neck, like a low V-neck with fake breast. He's got a beard, and he has not shaved his chest, so all his hair is growing out on his breast. Piercings, purple hair. And I'm looking at my young son as he's kind of looking away, and I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, this is the world that I want my son to grow up in? Because men remain silent in the face of absurdity, that now I have to have these conversations. My son has to be around mental patients that should be on lithium, locked away in a mental institution, having extreme psychiatric care, but instead they're behind me. This is a sick world that we live in. Before I bring my next guest in, she's waiting, and I will tell you, you want to talk about, I need some hope. You want some, I need a shot of hope on Thursday from Kim Yater. I do, because I don't have much. I'll be honest with you, I am a stone cold realist, and I see things as clear as day, and I see trouble, trouble, trouble on the horizon. Before I do, I want you to please go to our sponsors and support them, because they support us. And that's bellagrace.com. Shop bellagrace.com/truth. I use 2 products. I have a niece that uses all of their beauty products and loves them. And she's a beautiful, beautiful young woman, Division I athlete in college. But I don't, of course, I don't use the beauty products. I use the elixir, which helps with my gut, my inflammation. It helps with my hair, my nails, my skin. It just betters my immunity and my digestion. And I use the elixir. And I use the gummies. Yep, there it is. So I use the elixir, but then I use the restorative sleep gummies, because when I'm thinking about Epstein and I'm thinking about transgender and I'm thinking about Amnesty and Open Borders and I think about this and that and the other, and I can't get my mind to slow down at night. So I take these gummies. They're non-toxin, they're healthy, and it helps me just to ease my mind and slow it down and go to sleep. Because our world is in a world of chaos. So go to shopbellagrace.com, shopbellagrace.com/truth. I swear by it. Brandon House and his beautiful wife, Miss House, use this product and they swear by it. And I agree with them. I swear by it as well. With that said, can I get a shot of Kim Yater to get me some hope? Kim, how are you doing today?
Come on, JJ Carrell. I am fantastic. How are you this morning? It is time to bring hope into the room. Listen, you know, the Bible says that everything will pass away, but the only thing that will remain is the word of God. And if we look at what the word is, it is love. It is the only thing that will remain existing. So what we declare and stand in on this earth will go on for all eternity. So I'm just going to say that's going to be the hope. And we still stand in the midst of the fire.
Well, you're talking about God and God's natural order. That's going to lead me to the very first thing that I want to talk to you about. And it's something like I just talked about before you came on. I talked about 9/11 just briefly. I was just basically given like just a quick snapshot of what I don't believe in, that I used to believe in, that I just took for granted that, of course, this happened. Now, it doesn't mean I believe 100% the other way. I'm just saying now I question it. I'm looking at things that are part of 9/11 that make no sense, that have already been debunked. And I'm saying, if that's not true, well, how is this true? Is that true? The moon landing. Okay, these things are not true, but you're telling me it's still true that they landed on the moon. Well, if I'm honest about things, I have to look at the totality of it. And if you're lying out of 10 things, you're lying about 6. Why would I believe you're telling me the truth about the other 4? So, in one of these things is cloud seeding. And for over a year, for years now, I would say I became aware of this probably 2 years ago. And everyone that I listened to, and I really didn't dive into, you know how you kind of stay in your lane somehow?
Sure.
But I'm watching this, and everyone, Kim, is saying, you people are crazy. No one's seeding the skies. Now, it's like that fast, Kim. They're like, yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. This is true? You guys are openly admitting it? I want you to watch this one video that I have. I'm looking at my lineup if I can. I want to just make sure I pull it up correctly. Yeah, this is the guy, and he's not on JJ Carroll's show, which is still, I think anyone I bring on is mainline. But Fox News is interviewing this guy.
Right.
I mean, he has a terrible haircut. He has a terrible hairdo. However, he's incredibly, yeah, but he's on Fox News and he does this. So just can you play this for us, Logan? I'd like to get your response to it, Kim.
People can listen to longer form interviews that you have done about some of the safety and research you've done on what you use to cloud seed. Now, I want you to please address a larger question, which is one that is somewhat broad and perhaps even religious, but are you playing God? Are you messing with things that you shouldn't be messing with when it comes to the weather?
I get this question all the time, and I totally think it makes sense to ask it. My intention is to serve God. I think that in Genesis 1:26 through 28, and then throughout the Psalms and the rest of the Bible, God tells us to take dominion over and steward creation, both for our sake, creation's itself, and then to honor him. And so if there are droughts, and we have the tools to mitigate the damage done by them for our sake and for nature itself, then we should deploy those for the sake of tending to and stewarding the world. And if we weren't to do that, if we were to ban cloud seeding wholesale, despite knowing that it's safe, despite knowing it could help alleviate these problems, we'd be abdicating our God-given responsibility to be stewards of the world.
Okay, let's address what
Kim, there's videos of blue rain, like collecting the rain, and it's blue. So now we're talking about, not only we're talking about cloud seeding, but now if you're admitting that, then we know that you're chemtrailing us in the skies. So that's going to be the next revelation. That's going to be absolutely true. What's your take on that?
Well, first of all, it's interesting to me how he brings up God in this, using the God gift. And God has given us responsibility to take care of the world, right? Yes, that's true. He has. But are we using what is going to make our world a better place? So if we look at, you know what? They've been, feeding the crops. They've been watering the crops, but we know that they are up to a corrupt mission. The goal is to take this country down, not just our country. We're moving into the one world government. So when we're looking at this cloud seeding and putting these chemicals in the air, 1 pound of what is created in the air creates 40 million pounds of water on this earth. Look at North Carolina. Look at Texas. Look at what has been happening throughout the country. This is not a feeding the land because the land needs crops. It is to devour and destroy. So that is a life from the pit of hell. If he's using that same technology to destroy rather than build up and grow.
Well, Kim, he's saying that his company seeded the sky 2 days prior to the Texas flood and said, well, no, that would have evaporated by then. That has no play in it. And I'm going to show my audience here in a little while, after you and I get done discussing this, is the actual meteorology map when the rain started to happen. And even meteorologists are like, whoa, we've never seen that before. What in God's name is that? And they're like, it has to be. Okay. I'm looking at my other screen. Yeah, can you play this just for Kim and my audience? This is what it looked like in Texas after he seeded it and it started flooding Texas, killing at least 40 people. Watch this. Now watch in the middle. Watch what happens. What is that?
Oh, yeah. What is that?
What is that? What is that? Is that normal? Is there like a volcano erupting in Carrell, Texas? They have a giant volcano and it's spewing.
That's crazy.
That is what happened in Texas. That's what happened. So and then you go, Kim, then you go to North Carolina and you have massive flood in the mountains. The mountains
where all the preppers were, JJ. This is where the preppers settled. Isn't that ironic?
Kim,
but
go ahead. I'm so frustrated. I'm almost speechless because how do you articulate this to the masses that your government is the enemy? Not just like like the Democrats were. No. I'm talking about evil roaming the earth, evil enemy.
Yes. This is a spiritual war that we're in, JJ. We are literally up against evil and humans that are greed, selfishness, pride, wickedness. They are ensnared by Satan's lies. That's the reality of what we're dealing with. So somebody who looks at this and doesn't believe that it's actually happening, that this company can seed the skies 2 days prior to this storm. What they need to understand is 1 pound of what is put up there by 3 drones that cycle through will make 40 million pounds of water. Let me give you an equivalence. That is roughly equivalent to the weight of about 7.2 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Or what if you looked at train cars? Imagine a freight train made up of 1,000 cars, each carrying 40,000 pounds of cargo. That would be equal to the weight of 40 million pounds of water. 40 million pounds of water filling up 80,000 standard 500-gallon water tanks. That's the reality. So you wonder why this is happening. You cannot tell me you were in that sky, seeding the skies 2 days prior, and there's no consequence. This is the consequence. This is, I'll tell you, the border issue, This is what we've seen is treason. What we've seen is a national breach of security. Look at this. This is a national breach of security. Come on. How are you protecting America? How are you protecting your people? You're not. This is intentional. So we got to ask ourselves, for what purpose are they doing this? What is the purpose? Is it another land grab once everything is destroyed? Putting people together in these 15-minute cities? Is it part of the depopulation, which we know what the real agenda is? And this is where we got to say, you know what? I got to tell you, the name of this company is called Rainmaker. Okay, JJ, let me show you what a rain stick is. This is a rain stick. Listen to the sound of a rain stick. This was given to me as a gift to remind me, I am the rainmaker. We are the rainmakers, but we're the rainmakers who take our power back. We don't allow our powers to be taken from us. And if we do not stand up, fight back and say, this is absolutely wrong, and we're going to go to our board of supervisors. We're going to go to our senators. We are going to go to the highest powers that be and say, stop the madness. And then who is the one who is allowing this? We got to get to that root, expose it like you're doing. That's why I love your show, JJ, because you expose it and you do not leave us powerless. You tell us that we have every ability to take our power back. So I'm going to remind people that we are the rainmakers.
Well, let's do this. I wasn't going to show this clip, but I want to show it because you started giving us a visual of the amount of tonnage that's going to fall on the earth from when they seed it. So people might say, oh, that's Kim Yater. Maybe where did she get this numbers? Well, let me show you a video. Thank you, Logan. I'm looking at the other screen. Can you play this? This is from the same guy with the same very bad haircut. I don't know how. Kim, on a side note, I have no idea how the mullet came back. My son loves the mullet. His friends, I have no idea of all the haircuts in the world that you would say, JJ, one of these haircuts is going to come back okay. That one's not. The achy breaky Cyrus haircut's not coming back, but it's back in full force. But I want you to watch him, same guy, but on the Sean Ryan show, talking about exactly what you just said. Go ahead and play this, please, Logan.
In NATO that are under 55 pounds that can survive in severe icing conditions, because this is really cold water, right? So we have these resistors inlaid onto the vehicle that melt the ice off as it accretes onto the drone. So you find the water with the radar, you fly your drone up into these conditions, hope that it survives. You disperse the material. So we have this aerosol dispersion system that basically just emits individual particles that the water freezes onto. And then with the same radar you found the water with, you can now see it freezing, growing into bigger snowflakes, and then eventually bigger drops, and measure how much precipitates downwind.
So you're essentially introducing some type of an agent that has weight to it, and that's pulling the water down.
You're introducing an agent that the water freezes onto. And then it's just the weight of the water that pulls it down. So for every, pound of this that you put up, you get in excess of 40 million pounds down on the ground. 40 million pounds of water.
40 million. Wow.
Yeah.
How many drones does it take to do this?
Like 3.
That's it?
So what we do is we juggle them. So one drone will go up. Once that reaches altitude, the next drone will go up. The first drone, after dispersing its full payload, will come down, and you'll just cycle that as long as the conditions persist. So sometimes that means, you're out there for 2 hours. Our forward operations specialists, though, it's a lot of former vets, National Forest Service
you can
guys,
stop there, Logan.
oil roughnecks.
What do you think about that, Kim? He said he admitted to everything you just said.
Absolutely everything. So the truth will set us free. That now it's right in our face. They always tell us what they're going to do. Now, listen, am I saying this guy is a bad guy? I'm not saying he's a bad guy. He's young. He's doing the best he can with the information he has. Does he really get that he is destroying human lives? Does he get that? What story and narrative has he bought into to believe that there is a greater cause to all of this? That's what we got to really look at. So I say, JJ, we need to be prepared. We need to be prepared for what's to come. But at the same time, we have every ability to take our power back here. We got to get on the phone. We got to make the calls. We need to get this out far and wide. Not many people are showing this, JJ. You're showing it to your audience, not to put them in fear, but to let them know that they actually can do something about it. Now, I did hear, now I could be wrong, but from my research, Palantir actually gave this guy what's it called? They gave him the ability to build this company. Grant, thank you. They gave him the ability to build this company years ago, and they saw potential. Well, look what they're doing with that potential. They bring him in nice and young. The guy is brilliant in what he's doing. Wouldn't it be great if it could be used for good only? But they will take what is good and they will twist it to use it for their purpose, the demise of the American people. I don't see anything good that came from North Carolina. I see God's people coming together, taking their power back in the midst of the storm. I see that, but we've got to stop it before it starts, because it's coming, and it's coming hot and heavy.
I want to change gears just for a second. And this is a huge story that no one's talking about. And we have about 4 minutes, but I want to take about 2 minutes on this before we talk about Patriots Made, because it is all connected. This is a video of President Biden's primary care physician in the White House. And they are trying, the Republicans, who I have no trust in, Comer, Jim Jordan, they're a bunch of clowns. But that being said, they're going to bring this guy in, this doctor, to testify. And they're prepping him right now, telling him what the rules of this investigation are, and he's telling them, I'm going to plead the fifth. Now, I have a strong idea why he's going to plead the fifth, but I want you to watch this video and tell me what your initial thoughts are. This is the biggest story that no one wants to talk about. Go ahead and play this, Logan, please.
To go over the ground rules for this deposition. The committee will conduct today's deposition in accordance with the House of Representatives regulations for the use of deposition authority, which were furnished to your counsel. This regulation is incorporated into the rules of the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform at Rule 15, which was also furnished to your counsel. The questioning will proceed in rounds. The majority will ask questions for an hour, and then the minority will have an opportunity to ask questions for an hour if they choose. There will be one staff counsel per side asking the questions during each round. To the extent members have questions for the witness, they will be propounded during their side's respective rounds. Do you understand?
On the advice of counsel, I must respectfully decline to answer based on the physician-patient privilege and reliance on my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. I am not a lawyer, and I must follow my lawyer's advice in this matter.
So, gentlemen, we intend to assert both privileges with regard to any questions that would be asked at this deposition. And Dr. O'Connor will not answer any questions.
Can we go off the record for 1 second?
Kim, what do you think about that?
I plead the fifth. Isn't that ridiculous? Absolutely ridiculous. They are using the law against us, is exactly what they're doing. And we need transparency. That's exactly what we need. So what do I think about it? They continue to hide the truth from us. I mean, it's so plain in our sight. So those that have been asleep for a long time, if anything, they should go, I don't understand. The law is there to support us, and we, the people, deserve to know the truth. Why is the truth not given? So I think it's jacked up and it needs to change. And JJ, what are we going to do about it?
Well, you know, let me add this, and then I'll answer your question. The reason why this story, to me, I believe, is the biggest story, is because if he is compelled to tell the truth under oath, and let's say he does tell the truth, and say that Joe Biden was incapacitated, he was incapacitated mentally and physically, because we know he had stage 4 prostate cancer, or still has it, obviously, so he's in the throes of death right now. So you have a man that is mentally incapacitated. I believe it was the whole 4 years, but let's just play 2 years. So the doctor says, yes, after the midterms, going into his 3rd year, he was unfit. Now we are in unprecedented area in the history of the United States. So if he's mentally unfit, that means that every decision that he made, every law, policy that he made is overturned. And then we have to have an investigation of who signed the documents.
That's right.
Who was the shadow government? And now America is going to crumble. America will crumble. It will feel, and people are like, that's why we don't need to do this. And my response is, no, that's exactly why we need to do this. If we're either going to continue, Kim, to go down this trail, this path of hell, or we could stop our sinning and get right with 100%. God and crumble ourselves, crumble the government, and build us back up the way we're supposed to be. Do you agree with that statement? Do you think I'm a little bit off?
Oh my gosh, 100%. 100%. We deserve to know the truth. Okay. We deserve to know who was making those signs, who was running the country. Okay. It certainly wasn't the president of the United States, Joe Biden, at the time. So we deserve to know that. And then we deserve to hold everybody accountable who was signing signing Joe Biden's name, allowing these things to take place, allowing our country to be taken over by illegal immigrants, using human beings. I mean, this makes me sick, JJ. I have to tell you, thank God I have hope. Thank God. But we've got to shake it out, bring the truth out, lay it out. The American people, we the people, deserve to know the truth. And then they've got to put everything back in order. Everything that they've jacked up and messed up, it needs to be put back in its rightful place, where we the people are the government, no longer the government taking control of our children, taking control of our weather, taking control of us. We are the government. The power is given back to the people. That's what needs to happen. And we deserve transparency.
Well, you asked, how do we take our power back? So one of the ways that, and we're talking about, supporting our sponsors. You and I have both a sponsor for both our programs with Take Your Power Back show, takeyourpowerback.com show that you have, Kim Yater, and it's Patriots Made. That's the company we share with. Can you tell our audience why it's important to utilize Patriots Made instead of going to the box stores, and why it's more convenient, isn't it? It's going to cost me less to go to the box stores, or am I wrong?
Oh my gosh. Yes. JJ, the best thing I did 20 years ago was I took my power back. I made the switch from the big box retailers because I really didn't know back then that was what was making me sick. All the junk and the products from Procter & Gamble, Colgate and Palmolive, Johnson & Johnson. So when I took my power back, I began to see that the pain I was in physically no longer there. I didn't need back surgery anymore. My daughter's allergies gone by the end of that year. Eczema gone. It became my resource and toolbox as a wellness coach, a fitness business owner back then to really support my clients. And do you know what it did? It made their life so much better. It gave them the ability to have better health. It gave them the ability to save money, save time, get products shipped to their door that are American made. Not to mention now they have the never ever hormone or antibiotic black label beef, no mRNA. What the heck are they putting in food out there? So we have a company that shares our values, has been in business for 40 years. Patriotsmade.com/JJ is how we all get to access. Best decision I ever made. And I'll tell you what, JJ, I like to be in control of what's going in my body and what I get to surround my family with. And what you and I did was we said, you know what? We're taking our power back. We made that switch. So I think that was the best decision that I ever made. And little did I know the doors that would open when you begin to feel better. You can actually go, you know what? I am the rainmaker. I can take my power back, right? That's the coolest thing. So I say, guys, if you're listening, go right now to patriotsmade.com/JJ. One of our team of experts will personally reach out to you to help you take your power back from the big box retailers and make the switch to what USA Today named America's best brand. So go to patriotsmade.com/JJ. JJ, I love my protein bars. You like the protein bars?
I do. So I will end with this, is that and you asked me before, what products are you using? I said, what, the one that I use the most is my protein bar, because I'm going nonstop. And I hate I used to hate protein bars, to be honest with you. They were like chocolate and peanut butter, but it wasn't really chocolate. It was like something Anthony Fauci created in the lab in Wuhan.
Yeah.
It tasted chalky, right? But now I'm like, I eat it. And my son last night goes, man, Dad, we don't have any desserts because we didn't get ice cream or something. And I went, hey, here, let's try this. And he goes, Dad, that tastes great. So my son eating a power bar for dessert, but it's a power bar, right? Protein bar, so it's great. So yeah, so I love the product. You're right. It's shipped right to my house. It's done it's not like 5 days away, 10 days away. I mean, it's like, bam, the next day it's in my house. It's great. So I encourage our audience, your audience on your show and mine, go to patriotsmade.com/JJ. It will not, it will change your life. It's done mine, taking away the toxins. And this is what we're doing. We're taking our power back one step at a time. We did not end up in this miserable place that we live today because it just happened overnight. It was step by step downward. Now we got to work our way back up. Kim Yater, thank you so much. Go to your show, Take Your Power Back show every day. What time does it come on?
JJ, we're on normally every Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific. Today we have a special show with Mark Fincham at 11 a.m. Pacific. So it's going to be an awesome show. And this is about government. You are not my parent. This is about giving parents their rights back and empowering them to fight the good fight to protect their kids.
Oh, all right. Thank you for your shot of hope. I don't know if it's going to last too long. I'll be
JJ.
running on empty by the time. I'll be on empty by next week. All right. Thank you, Kim. Take care.
God bless. Talk to you soon.
Kim Yater at takeyourpowerbackshow.com. She is awesome. Kim Yater. That's a fast show. I'm looking at my clock on the left, and I got a minute left. A minute. I didn't even get through all my other stuff. It's incredible. I was interviewed by Stephen Gardner yesterday. Huge, has 2 million followers on YouTube. My interview now is like over 200,000 hits on it. But he said something that was really true. He said, I'm covering Donald Trump and what's happening in America, not just Donald Trump, what's happening in America. And I'm condensing 30 days of news into an 8-hour news cycle. That's what it feels like. Every single 8 hours to a day is a month. We are being assaulted on every front, from the skies, from our food, from what's in the earth, from foreign invasion, from overtaxation, sexual perversion, the destruction of God and our religious rights, our freedom of speech, our Second Amendment's under attack. Be prepared. You are in the middle of a war. Even if you know it or you don't, you're in one.
Welcome to Technocracy News with your host, Patrick Wood. I'm your co-host, Logan House. Today we have multiple stories, the first one being Unibabies, lab-grown sperm and eggs just 7 years away. I believe we've talked about this in the past, but it hasn't come back up in a while. What if AI isn't intelligence, but anti-intelligence? New mind-reading AI predicts what humans do next. And then we have 2 articles from Patrick that go back 20 years. The Global Elite, Who Are They? And the Trilateral Commission up Usurping Sovereignty. How are you doing, Patrick?
I'm doing really good.
This first story, I remember, didn't we play a video or something about this a while back?
It was a long time ago, actually. Well, in our years. But this is a new development at this point. And so they figured out how they can extract a skin cell off of anybody, male, female, doesn't matter, turn it into either a sperm or an egg, and then fertilize it. And there you go. You have a zygote, and you can implant that in an artificial womb or perhaps in a human womb gestate, right? This is crazy stuff. This is the business of science fiction for sure.
Yeah.
The book Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, written in 1932, this is exactly the scenario that it predicted. There would be a time when eggs, where women aren't involved in the process of mating and with the male and so on, but basically they figured out a way. Well, they didn't figure out anything at that point, not in 1932, but they said that the author said they're going to genetically engineer all the humans that are born. And this picture here is showing basically the incubators that could grow those babies. So there was no human involved, basically. That was totally dystopian, for sure. And basically, Brave New World also predicted the end of the family. There was you couldn't fall in love. That was verboten. You could not have a monogamous relationship with a woman if you even wanted to, or even a man for that matter. So basically they were just talking, free sex for everybody, but you can't have babies, you can't get in love. That was the end of the family unit as we would know it at that point. So this is science fiction coming true. The scientists that are doing this, they think they can achieve this in 7 years now.
Wow.
I know.
So there will be anyone can just go ahead.
Well, that's their term, unibabies.
Yeah.
What are you going to say when? Well, I know you're going to get married someday, I'm sure, and you're going to whisper to your spouse, let's have a unibaby. No. But for especially gay people, for instance, they want to have a baby. Well, just take a skin cell to figure out, flip a coin, who's going to be the egg, who's going to be the sperm. So, it doesn't matter at this point. As long as you have genetic material that's diverse, other than maybe you clone yourself. That's another possibility too.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And they've already gotten to where you can pick eye color and gender and all that. That's already happening today, is it not?
It is, yes. And this is a stepping stone at this point towards complete genetic editing of humans.
Yeah.
You can see that the natural step is going to be produce the babies, get that figured out, and standardized and normalized, and then you can take that genetic material and edit it any way you want at the sperm level and the egg level to produce exactly the human that you want to make.
Mm-hmm.
This is really definitely scary stuff.
Yeah, and I could see this being exploited as well for people to create babies that they don't plan on being, normal kids.
Yeah.
And they can use just about anyone's DNA to create it.
That's right. That's right. Maybe you should hang on to your own DNA, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
somebody might, it off to
some scientist might come along and say, "Oh, you're a nice looking guy. I'm going to take your DNA and go make babies, and I'll never tell you about it."